sort of kickstart this interview off is primarily to look at innovation at Cushman. You're a significant global organisation with 50,000 plus staff. How on earth have you considered innovation more broadly amongst the organisation?
Yeah, great question to start with. I think
not the easiest either.
an easy one, yeah. Look, I think you've got to consider what is innovation, but that's that sort of more esoteric question in order to get to the answer of what for how it affects our organisation. But as I would see it, I think you can describe it quite simply in that it's the evolution of the business in order to meet the business's strategic goals. So it's our delta, it's our change, it's how we're going to make ourselves fit for the future. So we've done it under various guises historically. We've had it purely as a technology-driven initiative. We've set up small kind of groups across the different regions, and this sort of latest incarnation, which I'm leading now, is designed as a genuine convergence of the front office business, the technology organisation, our partners within our global technology business, and also our transformational agents, those guys leading on the transformation projects. And I think that's an important triumvirate. I think you've got to get those three things working really well if you want to deliver innovation, because they're all critically reliant on each other. I think you can't look at innovation from a technology lens without knowing what the business strategy and what you're trying to achieve is. Equally, many of our projects or many of our innovation initiatives will have a technological component, so we need those guys on board. But at the same point, innovations that are talked about don't become useful unless they're operationalized, and that's where having transformation experts who can embed those innovations within the operations of the business becomes super important. So my job's trying to corral all of that together for the European region and use that to make sure we hit our strategic growth objectives.
So, speaking rather prosaically and structurally here for a second, you're obviously heading up the innovation in the EMEA region. What does it look like from an executive standpoint? Is there a global lead? Is there sort of continental lead? How is that all made up, and rough size of that outlook?
Yeah, look, so we don't have an innovation organisation. We have people within regions who are responsible. We do have a global technology organisation. That's one of our global verticals, and that's delivered in a genuinely global manner through leading up to our group CDIO. So that provides a level of consistency in terms of our technology strategy across the globe, and make sure that we're taking advantage of great technology initiatives in one region and exporting them to another to get scalability. And equally, we have a global transformation function under our new global transformation chief transformation officer, who was appointed at the beginning of this year to do that job. And again, that helps to build best practice in how we deliver these. So the missing piece of this, as we saw it, was how do we make sure that the business viewpoint, the voice of the service lines, the needs of the clients, is played through into that execution capability. And that's why my role has been stood up in our EMEA region, and there are some comparable type roles being stood up in our US and APAC businesses.
And so, and this may be unfair on Ross Hodges, who was meant to be joining us today for this discussion, but has got whipped away to the US overnight. How does his role? What is Ross's role, and how does that fit into these sort of several bags that?
Sure. Yeah, look, so Ross is a really important partner of mine in terms of the job that I do, as with others in the technology organisation. So Ross sits within our technology organisation, and if you like, Ross's job is he is our primary interface with prop tech businesses, and he is out there every day, is kind of scouring the market for new opportunities to either partner or invest in prop tech businesses. And so he brings that kind of supply side lens to what we're doing, and then I'm providing more of the demand lens of what do we need to support the business strategy, and hopefully somewhere in the nexus of those two, we come up with both what we need to deliver and what the solutions are that will enable us to deliver that. So yeah, Ross is a super important partner of mine in that respect, and and very much externally facing. He is facing into the prop tech markets rather than being someone who manages our enterprise systems and so on. So that's how we kind of I think it's really important to me. I know I've got a very clear sense of what the business and our clients want to achieve, but sometimes you don't know everything that's going on in the on the supplier market, and those give you new ideas that then reiterate back into business strategy. So that touch point is super important to me.
It's like a positive feedback loop in that sense, isn't it?
Right.
It's constantly refreshing. And I suppose just for context, for those of you who are not aware, Cushman, from that, and I don't know if you sit this in innovation, technology, or transformation, but have also made investments in Fifth Wall and Metaprop, and I find it quite interesting, some of the initiatives that we might touch on a bit later on, Richard, but obviously you've had partnerships with Plug and Play and Stanford University, and then 1871, which I have to say, I wasn't aware what 1871 was, and I wasn't able to look into it, but are you aware of 1861?
I wasn't involved in that personally, actually, no.
You know what it is?
I'd have to dust off my notes. Yeah.
Look, we have to look at it ourselves and reflect back, but for me, there is that mentality of it's not just stick money into an investment fund or have a partnership on an accelerator scheme like Plug and Play, but there's obviously thought and cohesiveness that have sort of knitted everything together in there. So I really like reading about that anyway.